I want to talk to everybody brand new in wholesaling real estate, and I really want to talk exactly the first steps a brand new wholesaler must make in wholesaling real estate, virtual wholesaling real estate, whatever type of wholesaling you're starting out. I really want to break down exactly the steps you must be taking when it comes to getting started in wholesaling real estate, and most importantly, the steps that you can take so you're in the best trajectory for getting your first deal, your second, third, fourth, even fifth deal in wholesaling. So your marketing's A1, your acquisitions are great, your dispositions are great, and most importantly, just so you know exactly everything you need to know in the wholesaling real estate process to get your first wholesaling real estate deal. My name's Zach, and I've done over 1,000 real estate wholesaling deals, and I run a business doing over 6 figures every single month in wholesaling real estate assignment fees. So guys, I've been through the struggle. I've been through the struggle of learning wholesaling, knowing what to do, the whole A to Z process, and all this stuff. And what I can tell you is I never used a guru, so I will teach you how to do it without a guru, absolutely for free in this video. So before I break it down, make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. What I'm currently doing right now is just making sure the audio is good for everybody. So do us a favor, hit that like button, subscribe, guys. If you haven't hit that bell, hit that bell. So do us a favor. Audio's looking good, so we're ready to go. And comment below your questions, and like always, I love to do the one-on-ones, so everyone's invited. We got the StreamYard link on there if anyone wants to hop on party about wholesaling real estate. But most importantly, I want to talk to people starting out in wholesaling real estate that is wondering what are the steps, right? So I have pretty much formulated there is around 5 key steps to get your first wholesaling real estate deal, more or less. But let's talk about the 5 steps on starting out, right? So everyone knows your 5 steps for all brand new wholesalers must be taking right now, but you cannot take the step, cannot expect to get your first wholesaling deal without doing these 5 steps. And then we're not talking about closing sellers or cash buyers. We're just starting about getting started, right? What are the baby steps in getting it right? And honestly, what I can tell you is for anybody talking to me and they're saying, Zach, I haven't gotten my first deal, I can tell you that every single person that told me that they haven't gotten their first deal, so that's why I want to really break down today. And if anyone wants to hop on and ask me why they haven't got their first deal, I will explain. And this is my favorite part of the lives I do on here, that you probably didn't do what I said in the beginning video. So if you have an excuse why you haven't gotten your first deal, you probably didn't do the first 5 steps. So let's break down what these 5 steps are and how you can do them. And let's get it going. So let's break it down with step 0. This is a kind of a funny one. So there's technically 6, but I'm calling this step 0 because, you're not really taking any wholesaling action. And I've kind of divvied up wholesaling into 2 main things. Me and Rick have always said it, but it is income producing activities and non-income producing activities. Step 0 here technically is a non-income producing activity. So I will not add this in the 5 steps that are income producing, because once you do these steps, you're actually producing income in your wholesaling real estate business. So that don't technically call it an income producing activity, but I think it's very important for everyone to do. But step 0 is just understanding the wholesaling game, right? The wholesaling real estate game, right? Like, what's a contract? How do contracts work? Is wholesaling real estate legal? How do I legally wholesale? How do I wholesale the right way? How do I have ethics in wholesaling? This is why I tell everyone, go to freewholesaling.com. That's my free real estate wholesaling course. Over 50,000 active members. When I say active, these are people that have logged in, actually looked at the course in the past week. And guys, 50,000 members is absolutely insane. Just active people hopping on there. So yeah, 50,000 active members, guys. Don't be a dodo. Go to freewholesaling.com. I'm telling you, it is absolutely amazing. But guys, it's a free course. That's why I do it, guys. I'm not a guru. I don't do coaching calls, discovery calls, any of that stupid guru stuff. Like, I don't do that, okay? If you want to learn from me, I'll teach you for free, but you got to go through the course, guys, because I'm not here to do one-on-one stuff like that. I actually run a legit business. I run an insane amount of businesses I don't even talk about on this because I keep it for wholesaling real estate, because I truly believe most of my income is with wholesaling real estate, but my passive income, a lot of other things. But what I can tell you is wholesaling real estate is the key to financial freedom. And so that's what I really focus on this channel. And I love real estate investing. So go to freewholesaling.com. It's all in there. But learn the game, how to talk to sellers, the scripts, how to do the marketing. What are the type of marketing channels? What are the type of lists? How do you pull these lists? What if you have $0? What if you have $100? What if you have $500? Like, what's the entire key process of this? Like, right? How does this all work? This is why I break down everything you need to know in the free wholesaling course at freewholesaling.com. This is step 0. I'm telling you guys, a lot of you guys are like, oh, but I don't want to go through all the videos in the course, guys. If you don't have a fundamental base, right? Like if you look at wholesaling real estate, it's really like a pyramid. And that's the way I really like to explain wholesaling real estate. It's like a pyramid. If your base is screwed up, you're not going to be good, right? So like you look at building a tower, if you have a bad base, but you start going up vertically, once you go up a certain level, the whole tower is going to fall. And once the whole tower falls, you can't build upon that, right? It's better to have a really good base and then build up from there. And that's the point of wholesaling real estate nobody talks about. Y'all bases are terrible, and like absolutely terrible bases. So do not have a terrible base. Actually have a very good base. And once you have a really good base, things are going to start changing in your wholesaling real estate business. And this is from learning how taxes work, how title companies work, how to find the right title companies, how to find the right cash buyers. There are really 4 main ways to find cash buyers. Just go to freewholesaling.com. It's all in there. I'm telling you, just build that base up, learn how to do it the right way. It will change your life. I promise you. So let's get into the steps, really. So the nitty gritty of what you need to know. Let's really break this all down, guys. So let's kind of break this down. So step 1 here is just picking the right market and the right area. And this is sort of said a million times, right? But like you have to know exactly the right areas to be looking in wholesaling real estate, the exact best market to be in. So if you're in virtual wholesaling real estate, you got to find the right market, right? And so what is my criteria for picking the right virtual wholesaling market? It can really be any market in the United States, right? I really do prefer, though, and I've always said this at freewholesaling.com, if your city's population is over 50,000, that's a very good indicator of a good virtual wholesaling real estate market. If the population is over 50,000 and not like non-exclusive, this is like they have to be connected here. 50,000 population and your ARV, the average median home price, has to be under $300,000. So this pushes up a lot of markets, right? Like Memphis, Tennessee, Columbus, Georgia. I mean, some parts of Knoxville, right? Knoxville's kind of getting up there a little more. So maybe a Detroit, Michigan type thing, right? Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Like there's a lot of great little Midwestern markets, some in the Southeast, some in the Southwest, some in the Northwest, right? There's so many of these little things out here that work really well for virtual wholesaling. You have to learn exactly how to pick the right market and then the right areas, right? Like I've had a bunch of lives about how to find the right areas, the right zip codes, the perfect neighborhoods, where cash buyers are buying, where they're not buying, right? So like a quick synopsis, right? Guys, you should go to freewholesaling.com to learn this. But yes, a very good area that I prefer is just, first of all, just asking your cash buyers, right? So it's like, where should I find the right area? So let's say you pick Memphis, Tennessee. How am I going to find the best areas in Memphis? Here's the thing about wholesaling real estate, right? Like we got to learn the whole wholesaling real estate process, right? Wholesaling real estate is basically the process of me finding a distressed property, so an ugly looking house, right? So this be any type of marketing, but really finding the ugly house, putting it under contract, bring it to a title company, right? Always depending on the state, and then selling that piece of paper, that contract, and we're going to assign the contract to a cash buyer, which is either going to be a rich landlord or a house flipper, and then we do it for a finder's fee or an assignment fee or a profit. So if I put a property under contract for $100,000, and then I find a rich landlord who wants to buy that as a rental, and he wants to buy it for, let's say, $115,000 of an assignment of contract to buy it, so he can buy it for $115,000. I make a $15,000 assignment fee. I get a check for $15,000 at closing. Works very, very well. That's why I like it. Now we know this process. Here's the thing. We're technically writing pieces of paper and selling it. Like we're like artists to a point, right? Like artists kind of write on paper and then they sell that paper for insane sums of money, right? And that's the way, sometimes I look at this business. And the coolest part about that is how much is the artwork worth? Like, so, they auctioned off somebody's, I think Paul Allen's art, and he had this art piece for like $105 million. I saw it on CNBC. And I was like, $105 million for a painting. How does somebody determine if that painting's worth $5 or $105 million? And I could have probably painted it. It did not look good to me. It's only worth that because somebody's willing to pay for it. Maybe some rich guy or gal is willing to pay for it, but it's worth $105 million because somebody offered to buy it for $105 million, right? So when you sort of think about these two double-edged sword here, it's like, how much is my deal worth? Your deal is worth how much somebody's willing to buy the deal for, right? Buy that contract from you for the assignment of contract. So that being said, where do I find the best areas? Well, if we're selling our contracts to these people, why don't you just ask them? So if I find this rich art guy that's looking to buy all this crazy arts for hundreds of millions, hey, what kind of art are you looking for? Oh, you're looking for Monet's, you know, painted from 1882 to 1831 in the Bordeaux region of France. Okay, well, I'm going to look for those, put those under contract, then sell to you, right? So if you're asking your cash buyer, hey, where are you looking to buy more properties? Hey, I'm looking for this 62211 area code. It's the hottest area code in the city, and that's where I want to buy them. Okay, roger that. I'm going to go to my marketing, boop, 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 find the list, and use that area. And once I get under contract, I bring it to that cash buyer. Oh my gosh, that's the area I love. Of course I'm going to buy this deal from you, right? To my criteria, 32,000 square feet, bang, 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 right? And it's so cool and interesting because it's like you didn't really do too much work. Like there's no like overcomplicating this. And this is kind of the, if you're new to the channel here, you're going to learn this after watching all the broke wholesaling gurus. But I talk about wholesaling real estate in a very simplified manner, right? Like I really break it down to the nitty gritty and I make it really simple because I'm honestly telling you guys, in wholesaling real estate, it's a super simple process, right? We find people that want to sell the property, then we sell it for a big profit. That's how wholesaling real estate works. That's how the wholesaling real estate game works, right? Like you want to go and find these people that want to get rid of the property, and then you put it under contract, and you sell it for a big profit. So that being said, if we're trying to find the right area, you got to go where the buyers are, right? And there's Facebook groups, there's things like that. Like there's a lot of ways to go around this, right? There's a lot of ways to really break this down. But like I can tell you guys, if you want to find the right area, freeholding.com is there, and it's an absolutely amazing thing to do. So what's number two, right? So if you find the right list, now we got to go out here and pick the lists and pull the list. And then from there, we have to find the right marketing channels for this list, right? And I think this is a very, very important process and one that's extremely underrated, one that is not talked about too much, but definitely one I highly recommend for everybody, right? So like if we find the right area, so we pick Memphis, Tennessee, and sorry for my Memphis people out here, but just calling you for an example because I like using examples. So I find the area, it's the 63322 area code. Okay, and that's where my 3 cash buyers want to buy it. Next here, what we're gonna do is got to pick the right lists in the marketing channels. I'm not polling, we just got to pick the right list to poll. And if you go to freeholding.com, there's a pro and a con to this for going to freeholding.com and talking to me and get my information, right? Pro of freeholding.com. You will never run out of marketing lists. There's almost an unlimited source of leads in Memphis, Tennessee for you to get really distressed property deals. Con, since it's unlimited, there are so many of them, which you're going to get overwhelmed, okay? So for example, I don't want to overwhelm any newbies watching this, but like if you come to me and say, Zach, I have no money, I'm broke, and I can't afford the software to pull leads. I am screwed, I'm going to quit. I'm going to go do this pyramid scheme instead, and this is where I'm going to get rich, right? Or I just can't, Zach, I can't wholesale like you. I have no money, and there's no, I can't do it, right? I have all these excuses. Wrong, okay? Code violations. Pull that list. Pull the probates, okay? Pull the arrest records. Pull the tax liens. Pull the IRS debt lien list, the credit card debt lien list, the water shutoff list, the fire damage property list, right? The pre-foreclosure list. It's free. Like the list goes on and 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 on. You can go to the bail bondsman if you want to. You get the networking. You can do a reverse auction if you really want, guys. There's so many garage sales, right? Like there's all these little niches for free leads, Zillow for sale by owner, stuff like that I teach. That's like you can find them anywhere, right? And so like you come to me and you say, Zach, oh my gosh, my market is so saturated. I can never make this work. Like I see it all the time. My market's too saturated. Have you pulled the arrest record list? No. Pull it. Your competition's not. It's such a funny conversation because I love it when someone tells me the market's saturated because I always break that stuff down and they're like, well, I never pulled that list. That's too hard to pull. That's what your competition said. That's why nobody's pulling the list. Duh, right? So like you guys, to get results that others don't, you have to do what others won't. And so if your competition is not willing to go to the courthouse or the code enforcement department and pull the code violation list, and you're willing to do it, because you're doing what others won't, you will get results that others don't. So if your competition is only able to get 1 deal a month, you'll probably get 3 deals a month from that list, right? Guys, it's all a mindset shift. Once you can change your mind, you can change your income. It's kind of a passageway, right? You can't get the money unless you fix the brain, okay? The brain's the most powerful thing we humans have, okay? And it's the number one most important thing you have to get right when it comes to making money. Now, yes, luck's important, timing, but the mindset's going to be everything. And money is never the option, right? That it's never the problem for you, right? It's the lack of the knowledge and it's the lack of the action you're taking. So if you're willing to do that, willing to pick the right list, right, then you can, if you have some money, if you want to use some software, you can pull like a high equity list and you can really do a lot of marketing channels with it, right? You entire landlord list, right? Pre-foreclosure a little easier on this list, right? There's a million out there. Just go for wholesaling.com. We break it all down, right? But I want everybody watching this to understand that picking the list, don't complicate it, right? All these lists work, okay? These lists just show you a higher percentage of somebody wanting to get rid of their property for cash. So if you get every property in the entire Shelby County, property appraiser, right? So every single home, and I call, let's say I pick 100 of those houses out, most likely, maybe one, if I'm super lucky, wants to sell it for cash and it's an ugly house. Most likely it's not, right? So maybe 1% accurate, like 1% that list is going to hit, which is not good because that one might not even be a deal. It just might be a lead, right? Now, if I pull a probate list, maybe I get, let's say 6. Okay, I got 6 people wanting to sell their property now for cash. It's an ugly house. I'm 6 times more likely to get a deal from pulling that list, which means if I spent, let's say I spend 100 hours working this month on this lead, I'm gonna get 1 lead. But if I spend 100 hours instead, I might get 6 leads or 6 deals or 6 appointments. I'm gonna 6x my results. So if I'm able to just do 1 deal a month, I'm able to do 6 deals a month in a snap, and I get to work less. So I want everybody to understand that, like, picking your lists and your marketing channel is going to be very important. So many of you guys out here, you want to take the easy route. And I can tell you the easy route is never the best route. So yes, I tell everyone to cold call the Zillow for sale by owners for 2 reasons. Because if people just do it, they'll get deals really quick. They'll build up their confidence talking to sellers. And it is a gateway into wholesaling marketing. It is not the cure-all. If you're watching this video right now and all you want to do is Zillow for sale by owners, that's not going to get you the results. If you think just polling Zillow for sale by owners is going to be your only marketing option, that is not good. Okay, that is not what you want to do. That will not give you the results that you actually deserve. I hope everybody watching this understands that. That is just a trajectory. It is a diving board into the other parts of wholesaling because there's only maybe 10 hours of calling for your market, right? That's why I do a new market every single week on my cold calling, right? Because like every single one is so much more different that y'all just got to understand that, right? So marketing channels, right? There's a lot of distinct marketing channels you can do. Ultimately, it's up to your preference, right? So there's SMS text blasting, there's cold calling. My personal favorite is cold calling, right? There's direct mail. There's drawing for dollars, which is technically a list, right? Costs some money. You add reverse drawing for dollars and you put some sticky notes on there, right? Those are really the quote unquote main ones, right? There's other ones out here. There's door knocking, there's networking, right? There's on market wholesaling deals, right? Just cold calling those. But like, I think so many people choose the marketing channels because they're scared and they're scared to cold call. And for everybody that's scared to cold call right now, I want you to understand that, yes, maybe you get lucky and you just text blast. And I love text blasting. Okay. To this day, still text blasting, right? But I want everybody to understand watching this that even if you text blast, you're going to still need to pick up that phone and talk to a seller, right? You're going to have to go out here, pick up your phone, actually still close the lead. Okay. Like I want people to understand that like you still have to call a seller and close them, even if it's a text blasting lead. So many people, they try to avoid it, right? They try to get into SMS or reverse trying for dollars, which is not, those are very good options, right? But they do it because they're scared of cold call. And if you're doing it for a fear of cold calling, you're not going to do well in this business. You have to conquer your fears head on. And I don't care what type of movie or guru, schmuru, that's not really doing any wholesaling deals has to tell you. That is not what you should do. You should face your fears head on because that's going to be the only way you overcome them. And you should understand that if you don't want to do cold calling because you know it's a lot of work and you've done it before, that's a valid point, right? But if you're doing it because you're scared to talk to people and you're scared to actually have conversations with people over the phone, that's when we have an issue. And that's when I want to actually for you to up here and conquer your fear. Because the only way you're going to conquer your fear is by doing it. That experience is going to give you the confidence, and that is what you're going to do. So many wholesalers just they get so frustrated talking, right? Like they get so frustrated and scared to start talking to sellers. And I can tell you straight up, if you go out here, start talking to sellers more, giving these offers, your confidence is going to skyrocket. And this is pretty funny, but once your confidence skyrockets, your deal flow skyrockets, right? The amount of deals you do skyrockets. So I want everybody watching this to understand that like picking the right list is very important, but also the right marketing channel, right? And I really associate this to fishing, right? I got my fishing shirt on, right? And a little fishing today, always fun. But I want you guys to understand that like list and marketing channels are the same exact thing to a rod and the bait, right? And I want to like people understand this. So I might have the best rod ever, but if I have like a terrible lure or a terrible bait, I'm not going to really catch any fish. Like it looks terrible. It ain't going to do well. I might have the best lure ever, and I might have a huge marlin, right? I want to catch it, but I have a terrible rod. The really good deal might hit the bait, might hit the hook, but the rod might snap in half because it's made of bamboo or like a tiny stick. So like you can't be really strong, with the lists. It's like those bodybuilders that don't do legs. Like you'd be really strong, but like your legs are small, right? Like it doesn't look good. Right? You gotta be all around really good. And I think it's kind of funny. Like there's a lot of like good basketball players that are really good at threes, but they got no game outside of that. And it's just kind of funny the way you look at it, right? But like you have to have an all-around really good game, right? So if you want to catch a lot of fish, you're gonna have to. I'd rather you have decent lure and decent rod than really good rod and terrible bait, and then really good bait and then terrible rod, right? You got to have a little bit of the mix, right? So many beginners come up to me, and so I'm just talking about brand new wholesalers watching, right? And when it comes to picking the right lists, right? They come up to me and say, Zach, my lists are the problem. This is why I'm getting no deals. And I did everything you said, Zach. I'm like, whoa. Well, you're saying what I say doesn't work. All right, let's really audit your business, okay? Let's really audit it. What's your script? Oh, my script says, this is Zach with Zach Home Solutions, and we're a home buyer in the area looking to give cash offers to properties. We're looking to buy 34 new homes personally in the area I have $1 million in my bank account right now looking to buy a prop. And it's like this whole like spiel, like it's absolutely terrible. I think it's so funny when people do that. Now, it won't work, okay? You got to learn how to do it right, and that's kind of step 3, right? So you have to learn the scripts and the objections. And this is not just the cold calling objections or the SMS objections or learning the script for the texting or it's the scripts for everything, right? Because once you start talking to leads, it is better to know your objections first before they actually come up, right? Because if you have the objections come up and you don't know what to say, you're done, right? Like it is literally like fighting. And it's the best analogy. I don't care what anybody says. Objections and wholesaling is like it's a fight for your life. You're fighting for your financial future. I will argue with anybody out here, but wholesaling is fighting, right? You got to get scrappy, right? Like you're in the yard, you got to get scrappy, right? Like you're fighting for your financial freedom. You're fighting for some money. And no, this isn't physical violence, which I never condone, right? But like it's like boxing to a point, right? Like you ever take boxing to any combat sports? Like you out here, somebody tries to give a hook. If you don't know the objection to what a hook is going to be, you're going to get knocked out. Boom, you lose the fight. But if you know if somebody tries to hook you, you can either like go back. Most likely, if you want, you can block it, right? But that's how you know how to like handle the objection. So if you see someone's going to fight and you know how to block it, boom, it's blocked, right? Like you didn't take the blow. That's great. And if you know someone's about to straight up, objections are funny because this is what it's like. Someone says, I'm going to straight up punch you in the face in the next 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And they go really slow. If you know what they're doing, just get out of the way, right? It's like Spider-Man, Peter Parker. But like, This is what objections are, right? I'm going to a fight. I know somebody's probably going to try to punch me if I'm getting into a fight. So it's smart to know how to defend yourself, right? And I think it's so many wholesalers just go and they're like, okay, let's do a boxing match, and they don't know how to do the objections. They don't know how to defend themselves. What do you think? You're gonna get knocked out, and then you're gonna come crying to me that I don't know what happened to this, right? And it's so annoying because this is why I want you guys to be prepared. All right, I want you guys to be prepared for this. So if the seller gives you an objection, you know how to overcome it. Because if you get the objection and you can't overcome it, you will lose the deal. An unanswered objection is it's the end of the deal. So I want everybody watching this to understand, learn your objections, know how to actually win the game in wholesaling real estate. And if you know how to win the game, you'll do very well. Unfortunately, so many wholesalers coming out here, they refuse to learn. And guys, I teach it absolutely for free. I don't know what else y'all want. Okay. I can teach you the wholesaling game for free, and y'all are still mad at me. I don't know what's up, right? Learn the scripts, learn the objections. It's all at freewholesaling.com, guys. My cold calling script is literally 3 things, more or less, right? So I'll give you really quick the script. It's like, hey, are you the owner of the property and are you looking to sell the house? If they say yes, you go into MCTP, motivation, condition, time frame, price. And then the last part is you say, hey, let me look at everything. Let me talk with my partner. Would be a good time for me to call you back? Is this the right number? Blah, 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 right? 3 things. 3 easy, super, stupid, simple things. And if you get that down right, guys, I can tell you can automate this business really well, put a VA in there, and really scale up the operations. And now, if you don't do it, you won't do very well. This is why I tell everybody that you have to scale up your operations. And once you can scale up your operations with simple scripts, you'll do very well. The more complicated you make learning this business, the more complicated your results are going to be. If you want really easy results that are doing very well, simplify this business. Wholesaling is not a crazy complicated, quantitative, quadratic, it's okay. No, okay. Wholesaling real estate, I want everybody to understand this. This is a people's business. Everyone thinks so. This is a real estate business. It's about houses. It ain't about houses, okay? This is about connecting with people that need to get rid of their property, distressed homes, and providing a solution, which is a cash offer. You're helping people. You're also selling it to cash buyers. So you're selling your contract to people that want to buy houses. Pretty simple, guys. Wholesaling real estate is human nature. Human nature. If you bring people without a civilized society together, I want everyone to understand this. If you put a few people that are in an uncivilized society, they will, in essence, pretty quickly develop markets and free trade. Sometimes not the most freest trade, but they'll start trading with each other. That's what human nature is, okay? That's it. I'm really good at, making apples, and I'm really good at hunting buffalo, and you trade, right? Wholesaling real estate is, hey, I have a contract. Hey, I'm looking to buy houses. Boom, boom, boom. It's the buying and selling of things. If you look at business, which is pretty much where everybody does, if you work a regular job, business is buying and selling things. If you really want, you buy software, you can sell software, you buy tangible goods, all this stuff, right? You provide a service, you do sell. Even making a video, you're selling time to somebody, right? You're selling information, and how much are you paying for this? It's free, but hey, you actually paid with your time watching this video, right? This is how business works, the buying and selling of stuff, okay? And in wholesaling real estate, once you complicate that, you ain't going to do well, all right? Now, what we do is it's not like being a garage sale flipper, right? You make a lot more money doing this because you're working in real estate, right? These are really big things to do. But I just want everybody to understand this, watching this, do not complicate it, okay? Guys, I'm getting asked all the time, how do I get the script? It is at freewholesaling.com, my free real estate wholesaling course. It's in the bottom right. Just put it in there for everybody. freewholesaling.com. I promise you guys, that is where you're going to learn wholesaling real estate. It's absolutely for free. Guys, I don't do these, coaching calls I don't do coaching. I'm sorry, but I've been begged so many times to do it. So I made a course, record all the videos for you guys, and I update the videos yearly. I do new challenges, things like that in there. But really, I do not, I'm telling everybody, watching this, I do not go out here and I don't do these crazy courses. I just teach you what works for my business for free, because I learned this business for free and I want you to learn this business for free, okay? I want everybody to understand this, that wholesaling real estate is about human nature. And if you can connect with people that when they sell their property, show real empathy and compassion. Okay, so everybody watching this video right now, y'all have somebody you love, right? Your mom, your dad, your family, your dog, a character on a TV show, right? Y'all have empathy for someone, right? If you can show that basic human trait of caring for other people, you'll do well, okay? There's only one test you have to know if you have empathy in your heart and you can be good at wholesaling, okay? This is it. Have you ever seen those ASPC like dog commercials where it's like saying the sad music and it's like the sad dog and wants you to donate? If you like get so sad during that commercial and you try to flip to another one like, oh my gosh, this is terrible with the puppies, you have a heart and you can connect with people in situations and then provide a cash solution, help them out, okay? If y'all know what I'm talking about, let me know in the comments. But I'm telling you guys, if you ever got those stinking commercials that break your heart, you have compassion, okay? And if you have that compassion, you can connect with other people that want to get rid of the property and help them out in any situation. It's a win-win, guys. You make a ton of money by helping people out. I don't know a better business than that, right? And I want to teach everybody out here to do it because it's absolutely crucial for your success. So that is step 3. Let's talk to step 4, right? And in step 4, this is when things get tricky. This is where most beginners in wholesaling stop talking about what I'm saying, right? This is where most wholesalers watching, they don't do it. And it breaks my heart. But I think so many beginners in wholesaling real estate need to do this. But this is creating a game plan. And I tell everybody, right, you have to create a plan and then execute on that plan, right? So I talk about this all the time, right? If you want to be successful, you have to create a plan. And I recently watched, so I'll tell everybody, yesterday, went to see Black Panther 2. Amazing movie. I'll tell you, it was my favorite Marvel movie since Spider-Man, probably. And Spider-Man, because, you know, I watched all the old ones, so I was loving it. But in that movie, I'm not spoiling anything, but I'm telling you, great movie and a lot of planning. That's what I liked about that, right? And they planned that movie out really well, and that's why I really loved it, right? So let's go back to Infinity War. No, let's go back to Endgame, right? So I like this movie. They defeated the bad guy, or might have defeated the bad guy, right? By planning, right? Every superhero that defeats the bad guy in a big series or whatever, they always have a plan, right? And then you look at personal heroes, right? You look at people that made crazy change in society when no one else could do it, or it was never, ever, ever going to happen, right? So one person I always look up to is MLK Jr., right? And he created crazy change that without him, there would be change, but not on the pace that he did it, right? It was pretty much unseen when he came on the scene trying to change things. And he had so many great planning on marches, and like I'm not as educated as most people on the subject. That's like a historian or somebody, but like he was able to create so much amazing change in such you really like a rapid amount of time through planning. And without planning, he would not be successful, or he would not have the change that he wanted, right? I look at the great generals of all time, right? So I was watching like a 3-hour documentary. This is how crazy I am on Dunkirk. Okay, the whole Dunkirk thing, and there was a lot of planning to save those people, right? I think it's so funny, but like I look at a lot of World War II stuff, a lot of World War I, and how these crazy victories were happening in modern warfare, and a lot of it comes down to planning, right? You can't like, and I always look at fighting, right? A lot of fighting comes in planning, right? I watched that UFC too when it came back from the movies, and that was a crazy fight. That last fight was insane. But like, you got to go in a fight, you got to plan, right? So like, I call wholesaling real estate a fight because you're fighting in here, right? And the coolest part about that is, how do you win a fight? You got to plan, guys. One of the best boxers of all time, Muhammad Ali. Okay, someone I always look up to. He always had a plan for what he did. Okay, and what he said, he always had a motive for it, right? So like, before he went a fight, he had a plan and he executed on it, right? Look at Floyd Mayweather, Mike Tyson. They always had plans before they got in the fight. Wholesaling real estate's the same thing. So if you want to be very rich and be very successful in wholesaling, you got to create a plan. And these are some pop culture icons, right? Like we got Shaq behind me, Miami Heat Shaq, the best version of Shaq possible, right? But he had a plan for his basketball games, right? And it's very important. But let's talk about business to a point, right? You look at every single business, they all had plans. And you look at real estate businesses, right? They all had plans. So if you want to be successful, you're going to have to plan. And this is why I tell everybody watching this, you have to create, how do I create a plan? You create a time budget and a money budget, okay? So it built on our foundations, right? And now let's get a little more into the foundation, right? So I need to create a budget for my time. So I got my list and marketing channels. How much money do I got and how can I use that for the list and marketing channel? If you have less money, you got to do free lists and free marketing channels and free skip tracing or paid skip tracing if the budget is a little more. Now, money budget's there. What is the time budget, right? So everyone thinks about money is basically the only thing that's super, super duper important, right? And it is not. Money is really, I would say, 10% of the struggle. Like if you want to become very successful starting out in this business, right? Like it's not really that important. And you can always, 90% of your chance of success is going to come from your time and your effort, right? And so many beginner wholesalers neglect the importance of time. And if you actually start implementing time into your factors, what you're going to do every single day, you're going to do very well. So create a schedule. Hey, I'm going to cold call the code violations and the probates 3 hours a day, 4 days a week, or 5 days a week. And I'm going to skip trace an hour before and pull this an hour before, and that's going to be my schedule. Great. Not bad. They want everybody to understand that you have to allocate the money and the time in accordance, then take the plan off and go after it, right? So, hey, I'm going to plan, I'm going to do this day, this day, and this day, marketing this day, reverse drive for dollars, 100 a week on a Saturday, whatever like that. Create the game plan. And most importantly, marketing, which is getting to work. So execute the plan. Create the plan, execute the plan, okay? How did D-Day become so successful? Made a plan, execute the plan, right? The plan was amazing. The execution was equally amazing. Make a plan, execute on the plan, right? Y'all, if y'all ever played any Fortnite or Warzone and with like 4 of your friends, right? And I've done this a lot, CSGO, Valorant, right? Even Overwatch, right? Valorant's more important than Overwatch when it comes to planning, but that's just my opinion. You just kind of run rampant in Overwatch if you're good, right? But what I can tell everybody is if you play any of those like kind of games or like Call of Duty, not really Call of Duty. Call of Duty is like an all-out thing when you're doing deathmatch. But like if you play any of those games, you gotta really plan it out, right? And then you gotta execute. And how do you execute, right? You make a really good plan. Hey, we're gonna do this and this, and go after it, right? Look at football, right? Hey, the Dolphins did amazing today. It was the Browns. Jacoby Brissett, we love Jacoby. He was great in the Dolphins last year, but the Browns. But they did really well. Why did the Dolphins do so well? Because they made a plan and then they executed on the plans. And now we're the top of the division because we make good plans and we got a bye week. So hopefully no one else wins, but we'll see. Looking good though. AFC is looking good. But I tell you guys is you look at the top people in sports, business, culture icons, right? Like anything you really want to look at, right? They all had a plan and they all executed on that plan. And if you want to equally execute on that plan, you're going to have to take the action, right? And I tell everybody, if you create the time budget and the money budget, and then you create a really good plan, and you equally execute that plan in accordance, you should become successful in this business. If you don't, you won't, right? So I want everybody watching this to tell me if you made a time budget, money budget. If you didn't,